I need to record, whenever I record, I need to use my announcer voice. Okay, so today we're going to look at some more difficult problems with completing a square where we have an odd number in the middle. Okay, so let's see how you do. All these, the algorithm's exactly the same. Think about what we did before. We scooted the 1 over, and then we divided by 2, we squared it and added to both sides, and then we can square root as we go. Okay. So, what should I do first? Subtract 1. So I get x squared plus 5x equals -1. Ah, that's easy peasy. Remember, we can't use decimals today. What's half of 5? 2.5, okay. Who said 2.5? No decimals today. 5 what? 5/4? Okay. So we're going to strengthen our fraction stuff. And actually, it's not that bad once we get rolling. I did hear the right answer, by the way. Half of 5. What's half of 5? 2.5. I agree with that. But mixed numbers with mathematics are really, really, really bad. They're really bad. So we'll never use mixed numbers. So we're going to go 5/2. But you are right, though. 2.5 is correct. So we'll use 5/2. Okay? So now what do I have to do to that 5/2 before I add it to both sides? I need to square it. Okay? Here we go. 5/2, got to square it. Don't make it too hard. 25/4. All you got to do is square the top and square the bottom. 25/4. So we're going to add 25/4. Okay? So now, before we add these two things together on the right side, we need to find a common denominator. My common denominator is going to be 4. So if I look at this -1, how many fourths is -1? It's -4/4. Okay? So we will say this equals 21/4. Okay? So we're entering the no calculator zone because we can do this without. So now what are we going to do to both sides? Square root, okay? So enjoy that step looked very nice and familiar. The square root of 21, I don't know what square root of 21 is, so I'm just going to leave it square root of 21. The square root of the bottom was a square root of 4, which is 2. And I need a plus or minus. Oh, and I'm almost done. I almost have the x by itself, so what should I do to both sides? Subtract 5/2. So my answer is -5/2 plus or minus the square root of 21/2. Okay, definitely adds to the yuck factor. There's no doubt about it. I'm not going to sit here and go, this is the greatest deal. No. Sometimes, if you choose the wrong process, it's not good. And in this case, I probably would choose something else. But I want you to see this because I know what's coming up in your life, and this is going to help you. This is going to help you. Okay, so here we go. Let's try the next one. What do we do? Let's look for growth here. X squared minus 7x equals -3. Okay, here we go. You're going to show me how awesome you guys are and how much you learned in this first step. X. Okay, maybe not. 7/2. Good. Minus 7/2. Okay, so what do we add to both sides? 49/4 plus 49/4. Okay, so right now the 3 is over 1. I need it to be over 4. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply it by 4. And I'm going to get -12. And 49 gives me gives me 37 over 4. Okay. Now, you don't deal with fractions every day. I understand that. But I'm going to tell you a little story that is true. I would never lie to you guys. Okay? I stopped at a good friend's yesterday. Good friend, that's a good question. I stopped at a friend's place yesterday. He was running a business where he designs buildings. Okay? He designs buildings and he lays out where the doors go and where the windows go and how big this room's going to be and how big this room's going to be. He shows the customer, they go, thumbs up, build that for me. And he does millions of dollars of product a year. I mean, he does lots. I mean, like some of these buildings are like $750,000. We did a building 4 years ago that ended up over $2 million. It was nuts. It was beautiful, though. Someday I'll have to show you pictures. But anyway, so the point is, I go and I look at what he's doing. He's working on his computer, and I kid you not, he's got a list of fractions. It's about five numbers long. He's adding fractions. I said, look at you, Paul, because his name is Paul. I said, look at you, Paul, adding these fractions. He goes, I add fractions all the time. And the reason is because if you're going to place a 36-inch door in the middle of this opening, 36-inch door has what's called a rough opening of 38 1/4. And then you need to divide that 38 1/4 by 2 to get down to 19 and 1/8, so you can know where it's got to be placed in the wall. And he needs to know from point A to point B where this is going to be, where this is going to be. So he's got all these fractions that he adds up to make sure he's placed everything right. So we can run away from uncomfortable things, but sometimes we just got to deal with them. And I know what's coming for you folks. It's not bad. There's some neat stuff coming. But we need to have our fraction skills. Okay, so what am I going to do to both sides? Square root. So x minus 7/2. Yeah, every once in a while he'll call me and he'll say, Rex Road, because that's my name. He goes, can you come over here and run through the math with this for me? He goes, I just want to make sure I didn't make a mistake. And sometimes I'll catch something and be like, okay, that needs to be a little bit longer before you order these sheets. So even though it's something you don't deal with every day, the math is attainable to you guys. Okay? Okay, so here's the next situation. We have a 2 in the front. We don't like the 2 in the front. We haven't dealt with the 2 in the front before. What do? Divide. If you see something you don't like, turn it back into something else that you've worked with before. If you look at this, we had a 1x squared. Here we had a 1x squared. Here we had a 1x squared. Here we have a 2x squared. So let's turn it into a 1x squared. Excuse me. Okay. Hope you're okay with me moving that 3 halves over at the same step. Okay, here we go. What goes in the parentheses? X plus 2. Okay. And I'm going to add 4 to both sides. That's old stuff. Now I need to find a common denominator. Common denominator is 2, so I need to multiply top and bottom here by 2. So I'm going to end up with how many halves? 8 and negative 3 gives me 5. Okay. Square root both sides. X plus 2 equals plus or minus square root of 5 halves. And then the rest is, hey, let's get the last step here. X equals negative 2 plus or minus. Okay, before I write this next part, I'm going to remind you of something that has probably been a long time. We didn't like i's on the bottom. We don't like square roots on the bottom either. So you multiply top and bottom by square root of 2. No, by whatever is on. And we'll work on this later on. But in this case, if there's a square root of 2 on the bottom, we will multiply by that exact same thing. So if it's square root of it's 6, we'll multiply by square root of 6. If it's square root of pig, we'll multiply by square root of pig. So I get square root of 10 over square root of 2 times square root of 2 gives me square root of 4, which is 2. Okay. I will tell you this. I would never give you 10 of these problems to do. Okay? I will give you like 2 or 3 to get the idea ingrained, but I'm not going to... This next one. Woo! What do I got to do first? Divide by 3. Nice job. X squared minus 7/3 x equals negative 5/3. Yeah, I moved it over. Okay. In the parentheses. Come on, you can do this without your calculator. What do I get? What's half of 7/3? Who said 7/6? Good. Because if I go half of 7/3, yeah, I get 7/6. Okay? What should I do both sides? $49. I heard it from 49 over 36. Why? 7 squared over 6 squared. Fractions aren't as scary as people make them out to be. The reason why people aren't very good at fractions, they are a little more challenged, but you just don't work with them enough. You run away from them when you can, and then your skills aren't as good with them, and that's understandable. Okay, so my common denominator between sixth and 36th. What would my common denominator be?
36.
36, so I'd have to multiply top and bottom here by 12. Okay. So think about that. Negative 5 times 12 plus 49. Negative 1136. Finish it, go. So I square root both sides, I get x minus 7/6 equals plus or minus I squared of 11 over 6. Excuse me. Okay. So rest assured that there is another thing coming up that, honestly, right now, if you guys were going to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on this process right here, it would probably be thumbs down all the way, right? Yeah. And mathematicians thought that same exact thing. So when they were working with this for the first time, they were like, this is awful. We've got to find a better way. That's where quadratic formula came from their sickness of dealing with this. So we will talk about that next week. Whiteboards, go grab them. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. if I ask you to complete the square and you do quadratic formula, you wouldn't get credit. You'll get the answer, but and there are things. Trust me, there is. I understand. But I'm just you gotta trust me and believe me that later on there's some things where we have to use completing a square. So it's a skill you do need to arm yourself with. I appreciate you finding a way to do it, but hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. Okay, here we go. This is warming you up for the little 8-problem quiz we're doing. Okay? This is not completing the square. This is get it set equals 0 and solve. Get it set equals 0 and solve. Okay? Just like we did on our worksheets. Get it set equals 0 and solve. Okay? You're not good enough at completing the square yet. So let me give you a quiz yet. So, yeah, get it set equals 0 and solve. I'm going to go with that.
5, 16, and the 14. Yeah, you do. Is it 15 and 4? Yeah.
I will slowly reveal the problem. Okay. So we need factors of 8 to go here and here. So your only options are 2 and 4 or 8 and 1. There you go. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Done. I want the answers. T equals da-da-da and T equals da-da-da. Once you show me you get the right answers, you can put your whiteboards back, you can pick up a quiz, and you can go have a seat. Yes, nice job. That's one answer. There should be 2 answers. Okay, you're completing the square or something. This is set it equals 0 and factor. Follow my lead up here. Okay. Okay, it needs to be in. I think you get your order of this wrong, and it's confusing you. Oh. Yes. Yeah. No. Yes. You're forgetting on this first one here. Pretend like you're setting these quizzes right there.
I've already grabbed that.
Oh, you good? Yeah. Tell you what, there's one up there.
Thank you.
So you remember, you got to set. You're welcome. You got to set that equals 0. Solve it. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Yes. So pretend like you're setting equal to 0, and you add 1, and then you got to divide by 8. Okay. Perfect. Okay, show me again. Okay, your last 2 numbers need to multiply together to give you 1. Good. Flip it upright again. Okay, you're doing this completing the square, which you can. Okay, which This is an example. This is what's on the quiz. We're not doing completeness square on this quiz. This is just a reminder that when we can factor, our life is a lot easier. Okay? But factor is an inherent part of our service. Okay? Okay. These appear to be factored, right? These when you start having two up front. We're not factoring it. Okay. We should want. But the x times x. They don't get 2x squared. Okay. When I take x times x, I don't get 3x squared. Okay. Same thing here. X times x, I get 5x squared. Okay. So this process you've got going is working well for you up here. But not down here. Which actually go back and put it. Okay, have the component back in. Okay, so right now your student it's making everything impossible. So downside. If you're going to illustrate this tomorrow or later, but yet, and like that, you actually know what to do. But with like their years of experience, they try to encourage you to do the method that I found works best. And not the greatest. Okay, 2x. Why was that 2x? Because it's 2x squared. Plus and plus. Why? Because it's plus 5. And so now the only way to get 5 here is either one of two things. 5 and 1, or 1 and 5. Let's check it. 7x? No. Sorry. 5x. 2x. Doesn't give me 11 still. So what do I need to do? Switch these. Okay. So now let's try it. 11x. 10x. 5x. What I'm looking. Okay. So then, if, let's say, for example, we have this 0. We have unequals 3. We'd have to place it in this one. Back 5. It's right. Subtract 1. So, this one, those we are taking. The x and x. The only option we have are 1, 8, 2, and 4. Priority. Okay. Same thing here. 5 and x. Oh. The only options I have here, 6 or 1 and 6, or 2 is this. These are fine here, okay? But you've got to find a way. And in this method, I don't know if there's a great bridge to go to that, I should say, to that. But I still have the best way. I will try and find you a resource will help you with that. But I really think that that's the better method.